$4.6 billion. That was the amount of money that flowed into the long-awaited Bitcoin ETFs on their very first day of trading last week. And it came after years of back and forth between regulators and popular ETF providers like Blackrock and ARK Invest, Cathie Wood. You probably saw them on TV last week pumping this stuff up because now you have an alternative way to gain exposure to the popular cryptocurrency. But it's a trap. If you or anyone out there rushed in to buy Wall Street's latest attempt to hijack an asset class for their benefit, I don't feel sorry for you, and you should be ashamed of yourself. That's because each fund is required to publish a prospectus, which is a kind of a lengthy document. Nobody reads these things, with different type of disclosures and risk factors. Now, I realize these documents are supposed to read like a horror movie script. That's because lawyers write them, and where every possible known risk factor is outlined in great detail. And look, you can read virtually any ETF prospectus and it will make you think twice about buying into the fund. But these new spot Bitcoin ETF prospectus are particularly revealing. And if crypto community isn't careful, the entire community, these ETFs are set to take down the once decentralized asset class for good. Okay. The first disturbing aspect of these new Bitcoin ETFs is you don't actually own the Bitcoin. Now, this isn't particularly new or surprising to anybody that is, big on Bitcoin and true expert of it. Because as the old saying goes, not your keys, not your crypto. That's because in cryptocurrency, your key is a string of characters. It's used by an encryption algorithm. Like a physical key to unlock a door or something like that, it locks and unlocks the data. So only somebody with that encryption key can get your Bitcoin. When you buy crypto on popular exchanges like Coinbase and Robinhood, you don't actually hold the encryption key. They do, which is why serious buyers of crypto pull their tokens off of these exchanges and store them on physical devices, usually called cold storage. Now, this might seem like an absolute pain considering you need to not only remember your encryption key, but you also must protect that physical device from theft, from damage, from water, from fire. So, but this extra step has saved many buyers of crypto from being robbed by the exchanges like FTX, Mt. Gox, which either ran off with customer monies or just kind of mismanagement. Surely, guys, this time is different. BlackRock and Cathie Wood, they wouldn't run off with your crypto, would they? Well, the truth is, they don't own your crypto keys either. That's because a custodian, most notably Coinbase, is being used by the ETF providers. So even BlackRock won't actually have control over the Bitcoin in its own ETF. This is scary for a number of reasons. First, Bitcoin was supposed to be a decentralized asset that wasn't beholden by any one particular group or an exchange or a website. Instead, these ETFs are centralizing the asset class on exchanges that historically had a terrible track record being a custodian of the asset. Sam Bankman-Fried's in jail, isn't he? Even if Coinbase doesn't do anything like Sam Bankman-Fried, it can be compromised, it can be hacked, and the crypto can be stolen. Other than theft, not owning the actual Bitcoin doesn't allow you to benefit from forking or the creation of new crypto. This might be the biggest reason why not to own these ETFs. Because inside the ETF's prospectus, it explicitly states in the event of a fork of Bitcoin, like kind of like Bitcoin Cash back in 2017, that event, shareholders would not receive the benefit of any forked or airdropped assets. Remember, these new Bitcoin ETFs are simply meant to mimic the price of Bitcoin, not give you all the benefits of ownership. You're not only paying a management fee on every dollar the fund takes in, you also have double the counterparty risk as both the ETF provider like BlackRock and the custodian of the Bitcoin, usually Coinbase, could run off with the crypto, go out of business, or do something stupid with the money. Not to mention that you don't benefit from the forking, which usually results in acquiring additional tokens, additional money at no cost and no effort to you. The new Bitcoin ETFs are meant to benefit Wall Street, which will collect management fees for doing very little. The truth is, Wall Street has been doing this for years in the gold market. Gold ETFs like GLD are meant to mimic the price of gold. But since inception in 2004, the GLD ETF has underperformed the physical asset of gold by, get this, nearly 50%. If you had bought physical gold rather than GLD, you'd be up another 50%. These Bitcoin ETFs are going to act exactly the same way. But that's not your biggest worry. Bitcoin is a volatile asset. We all know this. Nobody needs to tell you this. When it goes up, it's all good. It's rocking emojis and everybody's happy. But what will happen to many of these ETFs when crypto embarks on its next inevitable downtrend? It's probably going to be a big one. Asset outflows out of these ETFs are going to be very, very swift because it's just a click of the button. Volume's going to dry up, interest in the ETFs will dry up, and the ETFs will close up shop at the exact time when you should be buying Bitcoin, and instead, you're going to be forced to sell at the bottom. Don't be fooled, okay? These new ETFs are nothing but a money grab by large Wall Street firms like Blackrock. Your performance is going to lag behind owning the crypto yourself, just like the gold market. Instead of less counterparty risk, there's more, since you're adding another intermediary between you and the actual physical cryptocurrency. And worse yet, you won't benefit if Bitcoin forks and produces an offspring like it did in 2017 with Bitcoin Cash. I remember that day really well. It's like I opened up my account and boom, there was several $1,000s of Bitcoin Cash in there. It was amazing. I didn't have to do anything. Before and after these ETFs launch, your best bet to owning crypto was acquiring tokens on an exchange and immediately transferring them to a cold storage device. Look, it's just like physical gold. You should have a high quality, fireproof safe with explicit instructions on how to access both the safe and the tokens on the cold storage. Heaven forbid anything ever happens to you. While this may seem like too many hoops to jump through, look, history has proven this is the best method to own Bitcoin. Otherwise, these exchanges typically just run off with their money. And lastly, crypto's promise was a decentralized digital currency. Handing your money to BlackRock and Wall Street defeats the purpose of the asset class altogether. And if enough people give up the freedom Bitcoin offers, it will simply become the next asset class Wall Street completely owns and controls. It's very similar to the First Amendment and the Second Amendment. You give up too many of your rights to the government there, and eventually your right to free speech and protection goes away. I was an early buyer of Bitcoin, and I believe the future is still really bright for cryptocurrencies, but the new Bitcoin ETFs are a step backward and take away all the benefits of owning a digital currency. My name is Colin Tedards. Let me know what you think about these new ETFs that are designed to steal your money. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Bye now.